necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Alexandra Bello Productions presents Artistic Times Radio with Alexandra Bello, covering art events, museums, festivals, and music. We have interviews of artists, celebrities, musicians, writers, and more. Learn about South Florida happenings and discover art firsthand while enjoying red carpets, fashion shows, and press conferences from the hand of our host, Alexandra Bello. Tune in on WNN 1470 every Tuesday night at 7:30 and on my website, ABP TV. Now, it's about to get artistic in here.
Hi everyone, how are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. Another amazing Tuesday with me, Alexandra Bello, here on Artistic Times. I have two amazing gentlemen with me, Rich Stevens and Joe Johnson. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, actually, I prefer the way you introduce me because
Okay,
the way you
great.
say my name is just, I can listen to that all night.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, if that voice sounds familiar, it's because you have heard him in 8:50 a.m. His name is Rich Stevens, and you can tune in at 8:30 in the
8
morning.
o'clock. 8 o'clock every morning.
In the morning. Yeah. Oh, it's too early. 8 o'clock in the morning, and you will hear the news for the whole day. That's all you need.
That's it. Just a couple hours, and you get everything.
Exactly, you get everything right on time, and I met Rich through the documentary that I was working with Joe Johnson in called Every 58 Hours. He was actually the narrator for our documentary, and his voice, as you hear, sounds amazing. So thank you so much for being
I appreciate
with
it.
us.
Good to be here with you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you
Should
so
I
much.
say something now?
No, you can
Oh,
say
okay.
something,
No,
Joe.
My voice is my voice.
Joe
It's
is a
not
retired police officer from New York, and now he does acting. He also has a company, Mobile Notarial Services, right? And you also do private investigation.
That's correct.
And he's also an actor and a producer lately.
I've been acting all my life.
Yes?
Oh, yeah. Every day on the streets of New York, you did an act.
Oh, nice. Awesome. So what? Let's talk a little bit about Every 58 Hours. Why don't we? Why don't we
Okay,
start with
sure.
you, Joe?
Well, it came to me with all the violence and everything that was happening up in New York and around the country against police officers. I started to do some research, and I found out that on the average of every 58 hours, a police officer or a law enforcement officer is killed in the line of duty. He dies in the line of duty, and it's an alarming statistic. So we decided to, after commiserating with Rich, to sit down and put some ideas on paper, and then it buffaloed into what it is. We had the premiere of the first episode, first reenactment, which was about a police officer that I worked with personally in the Bronx in 1984 on Valentine's Day. He was shot and killed by a criminal, a released parolee who should never have been out, but he was. So, hopefully somebody will see the point of this documentary and decide to take it to the next step. Maybe do some more reenactments, and maybe it'll get to go to a series or a cable network or somebody, but I still want to have it released in film festivals and maybe to colleges and high schools for people to see that, police officers and law enforcement officers are not just the stormtroopers that a lot of people make us out to be. We're human beings. We bleed, we die, and we have families that care about us, and that we care about them.
All right. Well, awesome. That's a great insight about, why you are pursuing to create this documentary and to put it out there. I would like to ask you, Rich, what was your experience, about being involved with the whole idea from conception or maybe from early stages?
Well, first of all, Joe's mic is blocking my shot here, so I just want to pull that down a little bit, okay? All right, there you go.
For now.
Yeah, just for now. Yeah.
Seriously. Okay.
I mean, you're just blocking a shot.
that's
I'm always been a very big supporter of law enforcement, and with all the stuff that's been going on lately, more so than ever, there's things that people don't realize about law enforcement, like every 58 hours, law enforcement officer passing away. That's a really alarming statistic. Even at the premiere, we had some people, and I don't want to call anybody out, but we had some, as you know, some big shots from law enforcement there. They didn't even know. And that's when it became even more apparent to me that how important this message is to get out. And it's a very unique and original way to get the message out. And after seeing the documentary that you put together for the premiere, I mean, it's a home run. It could be a weekly special, an A&E special. And, of course, as you know, A&E has had some interest in it already, so we're hoping that that comes to fruition because, get ready for a lot more work. To do a weekly series is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we do a monthly, that'd be great. But this has all the makings of a weekly series because there's every 58 hours a law enforcement officer ends up dying.
Yeah, and they deserve the story to be told. I mean, these men and women go out there and they put their lives in the spot basically to defend the societies, and sometimes they pay the ultimate price. So the least we can do as filmmakers and being in the art world is to create something with it, create something that is artistic, that is informative, that is going to make people feel something. Some people say that when you put a timeline together and a sequence of images and you make people feel something, you have created art depicting reality. This case,
when I did television in New York, I was on the radio and television in New York. Something that I learned very early at a very young age was if you can invoke an emotion, no matter what that emotion is, you have a home run. And I don't know from where you were standing if you were able to see the people that were sitting and watching the premiere last week, but a lot of people were wiping their eyes and crying. So obviously it struck a nerve enough that that emotion is there and the message needs to get out, and it needs to be to more people.
Yes, exactly. And once we make those golden changes and we tweak a little more and we get the right music, the right pictures, and maybe a couple of moments that are narrated in there, maybe like reenact them a little bit, we are going to be even more striking, and people are going to want to watch it. They're not going to get tired of watching it because they're going to be visually stimulated and they're going to be reminded of what the person is talking about, and the message is going to get through, because the whole idea that Joe Johnson has is for the message to go through, right?
Well, what my daughter didn't know, who was there, okay, and she was on the set with us, Lacey. She did not know that I switched places with Tommy that night. And when in the documentary I was explaining how I don't know what would have happened had we not switched. Would have been me on 149th Street shot and killed or what? She had no idea about this. And when she saw and heard it firsthand, she was beside herself. She came running down the stairs from the top of the back of the movie theater, and she was just like all over me. She said, "Daddy, I never knew that I could have possibly lost you that night." I said, it's something that, a lot of people also don't realize that I was almost killed in the line of duty. I was driving an unmarked car in Queens, and a woman just out of the blue ran a stop sign doing 50 miles an hour, hit me broadside. She hit me so hard that when I hit the tree, I flipped off the tree 3 times. I had in excess of 80 fractures, broken hips, my lungs were punctured, my shoulders, my shoulder blades, my collarbone. I had no skin on the side of my head. For all intents and purposes, they say only the good die young, so I guess maybe I'm not that good, so...
or you're a cat.
Yeah, maybe. Meow. How do you do, gato? But the one thing I wanted to touch base was that lately in the news, we've been seeing an awful lot of press coverage of police officers doing things that are really starting to upset a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say this in all honesty. Look, in any profession, you're going to have good and you're going to have bad. You have good doctors. You have bad doctors. You have good lawyers. You have bad lawyers. You have good delivery men in the supermarket. And then you have other people who can't deliver nothing. Even in police work, you're going to have... there's 900,000 cops in the United States, okay? for the amount of less than 0.1% that do something wrong or do something inappropriate or act in a criminal manner. It's just something that you can't stop. All right, I'm not defending anybody. I'm not condemning anybody. It's just that people are human beings and things happen. Okay, people, go through different. They're human beings, and we
But
don't know
the
what
bad part
causes
about the whole
everything.
thing is that it just takes one to
Right.
make it bad for everybody,
Right.
and that's what we're
Unfortunately.
seeing lately. And yes, there's some bad things, really bad things that have happened in the last 48 hours alone, which you can't possibly justify. But because of that, then that continues to shine a brighter light on law enforcement everywhere. And you have the guys and the girls that are doing such great jobs and put their life on the line every single day. And now they got to fight with this additional crap too because of, a couple people that made dumb mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people are very the people are paying a lot of attention to when other people slack or they make mistakes, and I see this behavior all the time. Like, for example, when I post something on Facebook, I always post positive stuff, but then I go ahead and post something negative once or twice, and people are like, oh, don't put that there, it's too negative, just go back to the positive. Not necessarily to pat me in the back when I'm doing the positive ones, but to call out attention when I'm doing
Right,
the
because
negative
people always
one.
remember the bad stuff, not the good stuff. And most people...
And that's so ungrateful.
Right, yeah, but that's the way the world is, and it's always, society's always had that problem. It's just like the person that is not doing their job. In order to take the heat off of them, they try to throw somebody else under the bus, thinking that the spotlight will come off of them. And the smart people realize that, wait a minute, this guy's just not doing his stuff, and he's trying to make me look bad, and that's what happens way too often.
It's called deflection.
Deflection. Interesting concept. I love learning something every day. Anyways, I want to remind you that if you want to get in touch with us, remember to tune in at 1470 a.m. every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. You can also find me on alexandrabello.com. And if you want to see me, just go to iHeartRadio and browse for Artistic Times Radio or Artistic Times. You will find me. Anyways, we're going to go to a little commercial break and we'll be right back. I want to talk to you both.
The summer is almost here, and you can renew your home's curb appeal in just a few hours. First Class Pressure Cleaning specializes in residential driveways and landscaping. Starting at only $50, First Class can make your house look brand new. Let's get ready for summer. Call 786-440-8450 and take advantage of our specials. We promise quality, dedication, and professional service. Get your residents treated first class. First Class Pressure Cleaning brings class to your home. 786-440-8450 and tell them you heard about them from Artistic Times. You're listening to Artistic Times with Alexandra Bello. Call into the show at 888-565-1470 and join us on the red carpet as Alexandra interviews and informs at WNN 1470 and ABP TV. Now, back to our show.
Now back to you, gentlemen. I want to talk about, how you felt about showcasing privately this documentary in Cinema Paradiso last Thursday. How was your experience, Rich?
I thought it was great. It was a little piece of Hollywood right here in South Florida, and that's, I've been to a lot of premieres in New York City and L.A., and that was my first in Fort Lauderdale, and it was exactly like the big screens and everything, and it was a very great bunch of people. The only thing that I have a regret about is that it was private, because I think this is a kind of film, and the other films that were there too, that more people would they would want to see if they had an opportunity.
Definitely. I mean, the reason we call it private screening is because we want to have the opportunity to submit the film to film festivals. And I know a lot of film festivals won't take the film in if you released it to the public. However, we did invite a lot of wonderful, valuable people. And these people were actually at the event. We had 190 people there. I mean, we sold between 203 or 205 tickets, but we had at least 190 people attend because I counted myself, and it was very interesting. How about you, Joe?
I was quite surprised at how many people did show up. One of the attorneys that I work for in the private investigation company, I didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
He snuck in and got some popcorn and went back up to the top, and I called him the next
Wait,
day.
there was popcorn there?
Yeah, you didn't have any?
I missed the popcorn?
We can get you some later.
Okay.
They sell popcorn there for like $4, something like that.
You break a window, you get something too for $4. But he told me he was very impressed, just like that former law enforcement officer who will remain nameless until we have permission to use his name in public. He was blown away by it. He said, "I've never seen anything so moving in my life," and he's been in law enforcement for 30 some odd years.
Why can't you say his name?
I don't know. You wouldn't say his name.
When?
Before.
Oh, no, I was talking about
Sheriff
somebody else.
Lamberti.
I was talking about somebody
Al
else with that.
Lamberti. Oh, okay.
This is somebody
So
else.
we had the honor to have Sheriff.
Former Broward County Sheriff Al Lamberti was present, and he came down to me after it was over, and he said, "I'm actually moved to have seen this documentary." He said, "It was so well done. The timepiece in the time period of 1984 literally looked like it was 1984. Unfortunately, it was filmed in Florida, so there were certain things that we couldn't cut out of it. But, I mean, the car, the uniforms, the guns, everything.
The gas station, the bricks. I mean, trust me, as you know, it looked like the Bronx. I grew up in the Bronx. It looked like the Bronx.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it transforms you to that place when it's happening, and that's all that matters.
Right. Right, and that was the point of to show the horror of what those officers went through that night. It was a very moving show, and I had a lot of people who I don't know come up to me and thank me, and some of them came downstairs. Literally, they were wiping their eyes. They were crying from the emotions that Tony Rattano, who was Tommy's police academy cohort back in the day, and what I had spoken to about in the film that they just couldn't believe the amount of emotions that were brought up again. I mean, this was in 1984, and even for me to talk about it on camera when we were filming this, we had to stop. It haunts me every day to think how that happened, and it will haunt me for the rest of my life. Every Valentine's Day, I don't think of it as a day of love. It was a day of horror for all of us that worked that night, and Tommy's family, and it's just amazing that life goes on, but it's what it is. But there was a tremendous turnout. My daughter showed up with her friends. Her boyfriend was there. Joey was there, and so many people just came up to me. I was like, I can't believe how many people are here, because not to put down the last 2.0. Was it 2.0 last one?
Yes.
2.0 was what, 70, 80 people?
2.0 was like 70 people, yeah.
And this was almost 200 people.
Yeah, 190. I really didn't want to promote it a whole lot because I think 200 people is what the theater can take anyways.
Right.
And I don't want people to be uncomfortable or cramped in.
I didn't mind
don't
sitting
want
on your lap, though. It was fine.
Yeah, I don't want
Your
anybody to
husband-
have
my
like
husband didn't mind.
no,
He-
I don't
pressure
want anyone to have a bad experience. So I want to just sell it right and target it to the people that are more likely to attend, because a lot of people out there are just gonna promote it to everyone and their mother, and it's not very effective. I don't think it is.
We had great productions to be shown too. I mean, every 58 hours, the Gym Brats, John Vargas's Nothing to Lose.
We had Slumber, and then we had a lot of interesting trailers.
Right.
Because I basically wanted to have people show what they're working on, for coming soon.
Yeah.
So not even to be shown on the film carpet, but for people to follow up with those filmmakers directly. because that's the idea, that you are showing what you're doing, and if you're looking for additional people to complete your project, you can find them there. And if not, then you just go to the Florida Hampton Table networking event,
Yeah.
and you find them there.
I mean, Mike McLaren's Evil Intentions is just, that's when that's completed, is just going to be a shocker to people, and stir emotions, like you said. Sometimes I wonder what kind of social redeeming factors do some of these movies have, or with just the mindless violence and gore and everything. But his with the Nazis from World War II in South America, and then moving up to here, it's going to really have some redeeming value, I believe. He's asked me to be in it. Of course, I'm going to get to play a cop. What else would I play? I can't be a killer. I could, but
I would love to be part of it. Tell me he can count on me.
All right, we may make you a South American gypsy dancer or something. Who knows? There you go. Get some chiquititas. What do you call it? Castanetas. You'll be fine, sure.
Castañeda. No, it's not castañedas. It's like,
Castanetas.
yeah, something
we'll
like
give
that.
you a little tequila, and you'll have no problem. I'm sure.
I don't like tequila. I like Baileys.
Oh, Bailey's.
And
Irish.
I'm Dominican, right? So I shouldn't like Baileys.
Irish Dominican. There you go.
There you go.
We get some Manischewitz.
That's good.
I want to ask you, gentlemen, where people can find you, to follow up directly with you.
Very easy for me. Rich Stevens, R-I-C-H, Stevens with a V, richstevens.com. You can pretty much keep up with me there, or richstevenshow.com. Everything, my blog is there and such.
Yeah, remember to follow Rich Stevens. He does voiceovers. He has his own radio. Well, he is on radio, and he has his own programming, and it's very interesting human being to meet.
Thank
so
you.
That's very. How about you, Joe?
I have nothing to say.
Oh,
I'm
come
kidding, I'm
on.
kidding.
Come on.
You can find me at 24/7, 365 mobile notary. Okay, I go up all night. I've been to hospitals in the middle of the night when people are really, literally close to passing away to have their legal documents put
Oh,
in order.
wow.
Yeah. I actually was there when, I walked out, the person died.
That
But
sounds
they got it-
interesting.
They got it signed just in time.
Does this happen often?
Nah, probably 2 or 3 times a year, though.
No, I'm saying when you walk out of the room, somebody...
That they die?
Yeah.
I don't have their wallet, if that's what you mean. No. And then, Charles B. Reed Jr. Private Investigations, the state of Florida license in private investigations. We cover all of South Florida, and my partner, Jerry Calici, up in New York, he covers all of Metro New York City and New Jersey. So,
Awesome.
I'm easy enough to find, it's 954-274-5107. You can always
Yeah.
call night or day.
Or you can
I'm like
call
your
me and
guy.
ask me. You can call me
Call
and
me.
ask me, like, hey, how can I get in touch with any of these gentlemen? And I put you right in there. Like, I tell you to go to my Facebook. I have them both on my
The
Facebook.
girls, though. Just
Speaking of
girls.
Facebook,
Yeah.
I want to, we know that this show is about upcoming events, but we are going to have some special editions going on with the filmmakers that were participating at Film Carpet. In this case, the first guests are Every 58 Hours documentary. That's what we have today. And we have had an opportunity to talk to you personally about how you felt on the event and about the project itself. So that's amazing. Now let's just cover a little bit of the upcoming events. So if you are looking for a musical that you want to watch, remember that you can go on Thursday, April 16th. By Evening Star Productions, they have brought a Addams Family musical. And you can go right on Facebook. If you cannot find any of this information, just go to Alexandra Bello on Facebook, follow me, and ask me these questions like, what is going on in South Florida? I would like to find some interesting things to do. Another thing that we have coming up is the Florida Hampton Table monthly networking event. It's by invite only, so if you are in this business of acting and in the business of producing, you have to have a fellow actor to invite you, for sure. We also have a movie night, a Citizen 4 screening on Sunday at 7 p.m. That is basically in Pembroke Pines, so if you're in that area, you can go ahead and look for the events that are happening over there. Another app that I recommend every time I am on the show, it's called Meetup. If you have, if you like networking and you want to go out there, you go to your Android market or your iPhone market. Is that the name?
I guess.
And you
iTunes.
and you go to iTunes and you go and
YouTunes.
and you download Meetups, and Meetups is very organized. It tells you right there you have notifications for every event that is happening, and you basically put in what your interests, what you're interested in. I also want to remind you that we have a visual version of the show, or a TV show online. Let's call it that. It's called Artistic Times TV, and you can find it on artistictimes.tv. You can also find me on Vimeo on ABP TV, and you will find all the episodes hosted by Rachel Galvin. Sometimes we have, sometimes we have the lovely, Rachel Galvin and I go around, like maybe visit a concert or an event or an art festival, and we go interview people and see what that's about, and we can deliver it to your home if you didn't have an opportunity or a chance to go. We also have Maria Salame sometimes on board doing some interviews. If it's like a film festival, she does it for ABP TV, but we use a little bit of the footage and we put it on the other video as well, and we deliver you a full episode for that week. So with that said, I also want to remind you that you can find this show on iHeartRadio, Artistic Times, and you can go to wwnnradio.com. You can also stay tuned in for the next shows coming up if you are, interested about knowing what's going on here later after me. You can go to 1470 AM. And remember, if you want to call me and let me know about events, you can call at 888-565-1470 or go to alexandrabello.com and contact me directly. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
Rich Stevens and Joe Johnson, thank you very much.
You have been listening to Alexandra Bello from Alexandra Bello Productions and Artistic Times Radio. Join us every Tuesday at 7:30 and get informed in the world of artists, celebrities, musicians, writers, and more on the Red Carpet Fashion Show. Join us next week for more red carpet treatment of Artistic Times.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.